Hello. So you are cordially invited to join me and my friend Anime Senpai as he finally reviews one of the best movies in this franchise. I'm not saying it is the best, I'm just saying it's one of the best. The Bride of Chucky. Now, if you've seen my ranking and review video, you'll know that this one usually ranks up there pretty high. This is the first one I saw in theaters. Although I had seen the previous movies all before at home as a child, and this was the first one that I actually saw as a teenager. And after seeing this for the first time, this franchise no longer scared me. I was scared as a child, seeing 1 through 3, but after this one, no, I was no longer scared. Chucky was a full-on comedy from this point on, and yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see my friend who's not a horror fan, see what his thoughts are. So let's join him now and get ready to watch Bride of Chucky. Alright, so we are back for another reaction and review. This time we are going to be talking about Bride of Chucky, and I am here with
Anime Senpai. I'm here again. I was doing some gaming, but I'm here to do this reaction.
So, last time you were here, we watched Child's Play 3. You liked it, but not a whole lot. So my question, did you feel like Child's Play 3 was kind of losing some charm?
Well, maybe I feel like the only good thing in that movie was Chucky. He was like the only good thing. I didn't really care. I can't even remember the names of all the characters at that military school.
Not even Andy?
I remember Andy. That's the only one I remember.
So Andy and Chucky?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember the black kid who was supposed to also be like the main character of the movie, and I can't remember his name.
So, I kind of gave you a little hint last time you were here. I briefly brought up Scream. So this movie actually came out 2 years after Scream. Actually, it was because of Scream and its popularity that this movie was made. So they tried to go more of the route of Scream, but also at the same time, it just sort of fully went into a dark comedy. So do you know anything about this movie?
I did see the trailer way back in the day. I think it was the trailer for this movie. This is Bride of Chucky, right? It was either, unless if the character that I saw in the trailer appears later on, which is, I'm guessing there's like there's a girl now involved with Chucky, but I think I did see the trailer with her. If it was not this movie, it was one of the later ones.
Do you know of any of the cast in this movie?
I know nothing. I just remember one thing I did see. I'm not even sure if that's this movie, but I did see one scene where they were both in a car and they were talking about something, and that's all I remember from the trailer.
Question. Do you know who Jennifer Tilly is?
I can't say I do, no.
Did you ever see Liar Liar?
Yes, I did.
She was Samantha Cole, the one that Jim Carrey had to defend in court.
Oh!
And she kept trying to seduce him the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah, so anyways, that's Jennifer Tilly. You'll recognize her. She has a pretty or noticeable voice.
Memorable.
Memorable voice, yeah.
Well, we'll see. People say that about a lot of things, but I tend to just go.
Also, this was.
I'm not like Drax. Drax, everything goes. He catches everything. Me, I miss it.
Have you ever heard the name John Ritter?
No.
He was a very big actor. Did a show called Three's Company. He was in Stay Tuned and a bunch of other stuff. One of my favorite actors growing up. He was the father in the Problem Child movies. At least the first two. Yeah, this is one of his last films before he was... before he died.
Oh.
I don't want to say exactly because I don't know the details of that case. So... But yeah, this is one of his last movies. And this is kind of the first where they said, you know what? Forget horror. We're just going to go full out comedy now. And it actually isn't until Curse of Chucky that they try to reintroduce the horror aspect back into the franchise. So basically you got two movies here where it's just full on comedy.
I'm looking forward to it.
So...
Especially dark comedy, based off of, like, stuff or like what I've seen, like anime. There's one character that I can think of that I'd say has a lot of dark humor, and a lot of other people say she has a lot of dark humor. I'm talking about Nico Robin from One Piece. People say that she is like the dark comedy part of One Piece.
Yeah. Well, all right. Enough talk. Let's get to it. And we will be back after we're done watching it.
In fact, if it was a movie, it would take 3 or 4 sequels just to do it justice.
Alright, so you just finished watching Bride of Chucky for the first time.
Yeah. First of all, what the fuck was that ending?
That was a lead into the next movie. But it's never actually explained. I mean, it kind of is in the next movie, briefly. But we'll talk about more of that after you see the next movie. So, did you like this new direction?
I laughed quite a bit. I laughed more than I thought I would. There was some stuff that both Tiffany and Chucky did, especially like at the beginning of the movie where Tiffany brings Chucky back to life, which didn't quite expect that, and the whole thing was weird how she did it too. I mean, she actually gave him a new look. It looks good, gotta say.
We'll get used to it because we're gonna have it for a while. So
yeah, and that whole dynamic between Tiffany and Chucky, I did not expect a lot of that. Especially, well, at the beginning, once I got to know that they had a thing going on and all that stuff, it was not that big of a deal anymore.
would you say their relationship is very reminiscent of Joker and Harley Quinn?
Well, it's hard for me to say that because I'm not as familiar with Joker and Harley Quinn, which I really should. I mean, I've seen how they interact, but I'm not too familiar with their whole dynamic.
Well, I know you just said you recently got the whole Batman animated series.
Yeah, I actually have to watch it. I was gonna probably watch that. I need to sit down. I need to take a day or a few days to just watch that. I did watch a couple episodes, so that I was curious about, just so I could see like the quality.
Well, maybe after you watch that, if you get a chance between now and let's say a later video, you can always say if you agree or disagree. But moving on, what'd you think of the whole road trip aspect of the movie?
You mean with Jesse and Jade and all that stuff?
The whole journey from where they started to where they finished.
Well, the whole thing with like with Tiffany promising that $500, which they did get. I was thinking, okay, well, this could be interesting, and I did throughout the whole journey. I did not really expect. I figured Chucky and Tiffany was just gonna let Jesse and Jade off the hook, but I guess I should have known better, knowing Chucky by now, that wasn't gonna be so easy and all that stuff. But I mean, they at the end they did get out, so that was kind of surprising.
As far as we know, they really haven't come back around. Okay, so I've been asking this in all the videos, so I guess we'll start with...
Oh yeah, it was kind of unfortunate, that guy got hit by the truck. I forgot his name. But that's a rough way to go.
Yeah. So, leading in with that, favorite kill of the movie?
That's kind of a tough one. There's actually, now that I think about it, there's 3 that I kind of liked. The one corrupt cop that was just saying, "Hey, it's nothing personal."
Needle
I'm
nose.
just getting like the money's good and all that stuff, and I'm just thinking, he's a cop. He's not supposed to be bribed by money. So if you ask me, he got what was coming to him, and then Jade's uncle, that whole thing where they thought he died, they thought they killed him, but I guess, he just got really injured really poorly. Really, by poorly, I mean he got, he was out cold for a while, and he might as well have been dead. And I also, at the my words here, the couple at the end, that was at that hotel, well, they were just rude and stupid, so I feel no sympathy for them. So that was a good one. So those 3, and also with the uncle, where Chucky actually does finish him off with a knife.
So I take it you like kills where the victim deserves to die.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't really like if Jesse and Jade died at the end, or Kyle died at the second one. I would have been just thinking, what the fuck, dude? Really? These guys don't deserve to die.
What was probably the worst kill of the movie?
The worst one? Probably the one. Probably the one where they actually thought they killed the uncle because he wasn't dead.
Mm. That was supposed to be a spoof of the character Pinhead from the Hellraiser movies. That's why Chucky makes the comment, "Why does that look so familiar?"
Yeah, that reminds me. Speaking of all that stuff, there was the stuff at the beginning of the movie with all those props, and I'm just thinking, oh god. And I had flashes of Amazing Spider-Man 2, and if anyone's watching this right now, if you've seen Amazing Spider-Man 2, you know what I'm talking about. They actually set up the whole thing with the whatever 6.
The Sinister Six?
Yeah, Sinister 6. So I was thinking, oh geez, is that what they're trying to do here?
Freddy's glove is being looked after by top men. I always think of Indiana Jones in the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark when I see all those things, because then when you get Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, you see the Ark again in that same warehouse. But so did you like this one better than 3?
Yeah. I actually care more about the characters this time. In 3, I mean, I don't know who I was supposed to really care about, I mean, no one really grabbed onto me. I mean, even the one kid in 3, I mean, he was okay, but I didn't really care much about him.
One of the biggest problems I've always had with this movie is Chucky's new look. I'm not really a fan of it. I prefer the original look. But one of the biggest problems I've had with this look is it does not match the end of 3. Nobody has ever pointed this out on YouTube as far as I've seen.
Yeah, at the end of 3, he was like completely obliterated. So, I mean, from what I saw at the end of 3, it looked like there would be like, if there was anything left, could be hardly anything, and he seemed to be pretty intact.
Well, I mean, she sewed him back together, used other doll parts to make him back together. But what I'm mainly talking about, and this goes to any viewer out there, I challenge you, really pay attention to the end of 3, and then when she's putting him together and his whole look through this movie. At the end of 3, before he climbed that on that thing to chase Tyler up the mountain of skulls, half of his face was just cut off by that scythe. And should have been a perfect cut, circular cut, but it's not perfect.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that.
I mean, yeah, there is a large patch, but that skin should be all intact, and there should be a clear cut going around his face, and there's not. I mean, you could maybe say, maybe the way she sewed it made it look like that, but no. I don't remember it cutting into his nose at all. And there's a big stitch on his nose and stuff. So, that's just always been a problem I've had. I know that it's probably hard for them, maybe to do that. But they should have remembered the continuity.
Well, as far as that goes, she might have just... I mean, I'll have to go over the movie again, but she might have just went over the whole thing a little bit, and so the damage might have been there. She just might have just covered it in like a different way.
Yeah. Here's an interesting fact. I think I probably told you this back after you've watched the first one, but actually Chucky's original eyes, they didn't even have that in this one either. But the original eyes for the good guy were the same eyes that were used for the Crypt Keeper in Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember you mentioning that.
Just another little fact I like to point out. So the next one, do you have any predictions where this can go from there? Or?
No, I got nothing. It continues to surprise me. The one thing I expect to be a constant is I expect Chucky, of course, he'll be back again. Otherwise, this wouldn't be Chucky anymore, or Child's Play. Well, it's not Child's Play anymore. It's Chucky. So, but there will also be Tiffany now. I'm kind of expecting her to come back. Especially since I have not seen that scene that I remember from like that whole car scene from the trailer. I did not see that in this movie.
That was maybe in Seed of Chucky then? Here's my question. Generally, I'll tell you what most people say after, but what are your thoughts about the addition of Tiffany into this series?
At first, I was kind of concerned. I was just thinking, oh boy, here we go. It's a chick with like a very developed figure and all that stuff. A lot of cleavage and stuff. And I figured she was just going to be nothing special. But she actually proved me wrong, and she was kind of funny. I liked her.
Do you think she balanced Chucky's madness?
Yeah. But you know what? In terms of that stuff, I want no part of that relationship because she would probably kill me. Just like she did that poor bastard at the beginning of the movie.
A lot of people will often say that,
Oh, well, technically that was Chucky, but, I mean, she set that whole thing up.
a lot of people often say that, she is a perfect addition and that she brings just as much to the series as Chucky does.
Oh yeah, I'll probably agree to that.
One of the other things too is that they like to say is this movie, Bride of Chucky, wasn't actually Chucky's movie at all.
Yeah, I mean,
It was her movie.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was called like Bride of Chucky. So I mean, it's very much about Tiffany, which that whole thing about when Chucky was actually trying to get even with Tiffany by killing her in the bathtub. Oh, that was brutal. And then reviving her right away. I was thinking, does it really work like that? I mean, Chucky was still, Charles Lee Ray was still alive. He was in bad shape when he was transferring his soul to the good guy doll. But here she was, now granted she was just killed, so she probably, not much has happened with her body yet.
There's nothing official, but I am a huge Child's Play fan, as I've told you. And my guess is when Charles Lee Ray did it back in the first movie, he was using a transfer spell to transfer his soul out of his body and into something else. The spell that she used was used to call Chucky from the afterlife and put the soul back in the body.
Yeah, I noticed that the incantation was different because because at the end it was awaken or something like that.
Yep, awake. What a crock. Notice both of them said that?
I did actually. I was thinking, yeah, that was kind of.
So if you're ever performing that spell, make sure you add in that line at the end. What a crock.
Yeah, maybe it'll work.
But yeah, I believe that spell was a resurrection callback spell to call the soul back. I think the fact that Chucky did it so close to her death, the soul went into the only thing it could, which was Tiffany's new doll.
She should have just gone to the actual body, but I mean, this was a movie, so.
Well, the body was dead, so I don't think it can come back.
Well, the doll is just plastic, so what's the difference?
Yeah, but it's not alive or dead, so it can be animated by a soul.
Okay.
So yeah, so I'm glad you liked it. Let's see, anything else about the movie before we move on? Went over the deaths, went over Chucky, Tiffany. Oh, Tiffany, before we end, did you notice anything about the end of the movie with Tiffany? This is something else a lot of people don't bring up.
Well,
I'll just give it to you.
Okay.
It's always been my belief that she got burned because Chucky got burned. At the end of the first movie, he was burnt to a crisp. So in her first movie, she needed to be burned to a crisp.
Oh, jeez. So the next one, she's gonna be melted?
I'm not going to say. I'm just going to say that this is kind of poetic here. How Chucky got burned in his first movie. She got burned in her first movie. Yeah, she got off light, though, because she didn't get dismembered, then shot.
It's almost like a certain other director was involved with this. A director that gets a lot of hate.
But anyways, so we're going to close out here. Any final thoughts?
Well, I am working on getting. I have this idea for a video for Bleach, because of the whole new chapter that was recently released, and I did read it once. I'll probably do discussion here pretty soon and talk about that. And I'm not going to be talking about Bleach regularly. I'm just doing this because this is a special thing for Bleach. So that's the only reason for that. And for My Hero Academia, I'll be talking about the special chapter and episode. I'll be touching on those. And for One Piece, I won't be telling you. Well, actually, you know what? I guess I will tease this. I am going to be talking about the dub. Because people are always saying the sub is better, and you know what? I will agree on a lot of occasions, except, well, I mean, one occasion especially. There's the one scene. I'm going to mention this right here. This is just a preview. I'll be going in more depth in my own video. The scene where Luffy, Sabo, and Ace are kids, when they're talking about their dreams, the dub kind of screwed that up a little bit. So I'm going to be talking about the dub of One Piece. Let's see here, what else? Black Clover, oh yeah, I got something different for that one in mind. Other than that, nothing really comes to mind. And also, if you're new to my channel, if you haven't seen my channel, I also have a Patreon. And I have 5 tiers. The lowest tier is $3, but you can also make your own custom thing. But I have 5 tiers from $3 all the way up to, I think my most expensive is $100. So if you'd like just to support me on there, that'd be really appreciative. Although if you don't really need to do that. You can just go to my channel and hopefully subscribe or like my content at least.
Alright, and we will end it there, and we will see you next time for Seed of Chucky. Now let's go to my closing. And I now pronounce this the end of the video. Before I go and get into the closing of this video, I do want to add in real quick, there are a few issues that I have had with this movie, and the more and more I watch this, the more and more this comes up, which really keeps this from getting much higher. It might actually bring this lower on my list in the future. But it's, as much as I love, and everybody loves, Jennifer Tilly as Tiffany. Tiffany, well, yes, she's really good. She's also kind of a problem, which thankfully they kind of address later on, which I'll get into in a later one. And I know this is probably going to get me a lot of hate, a lot of downvotes for me saying this. But yeah, Tiffany's kind of a problem. And what I mean by that is, yes, while she is funny and she does add to Chucky, she also takes away a lot from this franchise. She pulls it back, like keeping it on a leash. What I mean by that is, at the beginning of the movie, she is completely psycho. You look at her and she is completely perfect for Chucky. She matches his insanity. And then it's like, throughout the movie, the more and more we get closer to the end, yeah, she still is willing to kill. But it's like, once she has Chucky, it's like, okay, now I don't want to kill anymore. And this is a problem I have with her, even going into the next movie. It's what really, I think, brings the next movie down so much, is that now she suddenly wants to be a good person, and she thinks Chucky's going to become that. And it's like, no. You both were psycho. That's what made you so good together. At the beginning, she was with this guy, dating this guy, or at least he made it seem like they were dating. And I mean, it's just, she really brings it down when she suddenly starts turning against Chucky. I mean, yeah, okay, the two of them were baited into fighting, but even after that, she still betrays Chucky at the end, and it's like, I'm sorry, she should not be doing that. She should not have betrayed Chucky. And then later on, wanting to give up killing. It's like, no, this should not be her character. But I'm glad moving on after this, they do kind of fix that by basically, they don't exactly remove her, but she's not as much of a main character anymore. She has like little tiny cameos, and that's it. But let's get into the closing part now. So thank you so much for watching. This has been really awesome, having the chance to sit with my friend and get his reactions right out the gate after he's done watching these videos. It's so interesting, especially due to the fact, I don't know if I've said this before, but he is completely new to horror. The only thing he's really seen before that is horror is Scream, which he liked, but he doesn't like any other kind of horror. And I can get into more about that in the next video, but it's just so interesting to see a new person come in for the first time who's a full-grown adult and see their reactions and their thoughts to this stuff. Especially since a lot of people usually have insincere reactions when they put too much thought into it. And so this way, you all get to see his fresh reaction. As soon as the credits roll or are over, that's when I turn the lights on and start recording and asking him questions. So he's got no time to really let this sit. He just gets to start talking about it right away, which I think really makes this very interesting. So without further ado, this video is long enough. I want to say thank you for watching. Just as another update to keep you aware, I am having a live stream on September 23rd. Still not sure about the times. Like I said, at the beginning of September, I'll probably let you know. Every time this channel hits another 10 subscribers, I give away a free digital code. And we are not very far away from 50 subscribers. And when we reach 50, I might put in an extra code just because that'll be a really decent milestone. So every time we hit a big milestone, I might do more than one code. I usually put them in the videos. So it's first come, first serve. So I ask you, if you are not subscribed, or if you were subscribed and you unsubscribed, or if you got unsubscribed because I hear a lot of crazy things about what YouTube does, please make sure you're subscribed to this channel. But most importantly, make sure to click the notification bell. I cannot wait to do the next video because, oh my god, anybody who knows this franchise, you know what's coming. You know what the next movie is. And it's going to be so fun to sit there and see his reaction to this next movie. So, again, I want to thank you. I want to make sure you have a chance. Please subscribe if you're not. and I will talk to you in the next video.